Christy from the Hanover branch of the Pamunkey Regional Library, and today we're having a program virtually called Color Science. And we're going to do 3 different things. First, we're going to make a kaleidoscope. Can you see the colorful things in there? I don't think I can get you to see inside of my kaleidoscope, but you can see when you turn it, all the little pieces move around, and I promise you, it is really pretty. So we're gonna have a kit to give out. So if you're watching this and you don't have the kit yet, come on in to the Hanover branch and grab a kit. Now what you're gonna get in your kit is some paperwork, and you're gonna get this little bag, which for your kaleidoscope, you get your little pieces to put in there. And you will also get a round piece of plastic. I don't know if you can see that, but it's a round piece of plastic, and it's for part of your kaleidoscope. So we're going to leave that out right now. So the only other thing you will need is your Pringles can, and inside we have 3 mirrored pieces of cardboard paper. Now, if you get your kit, this will come with your kit. If not, you can always work on this on your own and eat some Pringles, and then get some of this kind of cardstock, and you'll be on your way. If you really like making them, you can experiment with all different kinds. And also, when you put this in, this just pops right off like that. So you can see the little pieces. You can always switch them out with sequins or buttons, anything that you have colorful laying around, beads, and just see how it looks. So you don't really have to make a whole bunch. You could just practice with the one you have. That's what's really neat about making them out of a Pringles can. So let's get started. With your 3 pieces of cardstock, you're going to want to make them into a triangle with the shiny part on the inside, because that's what's going to reflect your colors of your tiny geometrical pieces. Now this is kind of tricky, but I have found an easier way to do it. And what I do, these will be in your Pringles can. I hope they're not as curly as mine. So I would just take 2 of them. These are upside down and pushed really close together, and just kind of spread out your whole hand to hold them evenly together. You will need tape. So you take your tape and very carefully do that. And then I would do the other side too, as close to the edge as you can, just like that. So there you've got 2 pieces, and they will bend. And then I would go ahead and do my 3rd piece the same way. What I kept doing is forgetting and putting the shiny part on the outside, which you don't want to do that, because that will not work. You need the shiny part to reflect. And if you're doing this without a kit, you could also use some regular paper with some Reynolds wrap on it. That's a good try, good idea. I haven't tried it, but it might work. I think it will work as long as you put the shiniest part face out. So once you have them all 3 taped together, you can just fold them into the triangle like this, and then you'll need to tape the edge. Now that is hard. That is very hard, because you want to hold them close together, and maybe just stick your tape on the edge. This is the hardest part. Sorry, I had to be very concentrated to do that. So we've got it all taped up. Now this part is the tricky part. I'm going to add a little bit more tape on here. You might want to do that too, just to make it sturdy. The tricky part is hoping it will fit in this Pringles can. Now you will note that your Pringles can has your hole already punched in it. I should have told you right away, do not stick your hand inside because it is sharp on the bottom. So the next thing we do is just stick this down inside the Pringles can, and it does fit, and it leaves a little bit of edges. Now you can see, can you see where it's a little shiny in there? And it's down, giving us about, I don't know, 1/3 of an inch. It should be cut perfectly. If it's not, you may need to trim it up a little bit. I hope that's not the case. So then, here comes our piece of plastic that's so hard to see. Can you see that? There we go. Yeah. So you're going to sit that in there. Now see, that is a little big. This is where I'm saying we might need to trim up. Just trim a little bit off the edge. Maybe have some scissors handy. Because you want this, if it's a little loose inside of there, it's okay. But you don't want it to be too big. You want it to just lay right in there. And there we go. Well, I would trim it just a little more. No, it's okay. And then you're going to take your tape. And where you're going to tape is right across here. You want your tape to lay like that on all the edges so it doesn't obscure the viewing area of the pretty plastic pieces. Now it's not going to tape very perfectly. Can you see that one? It's just taped straight across the triangle line. That's how we want to do all three. And it doesn't need to be perfect. Like I said, it will be too hard to get this perfectly taped. As long as part of it is holding it down, that's okay. We do want it on the inside of the can though. So we got that one a little bit in there. And then we have one more to go on the 3rd edge of the triangle. And that one was a little hard. We will do that. So now you can see we have the plastic piece taped in. Now all you need to do is go to your kit and take out all these plastic pieces, but I have some right here. And I'm gonna just kind of dump them in here. They get a little staticky sometimes, so you might have to go back and grab one. And then, there you go. You've got your kaleidoscope. You'll probably have a little more pieces than this. And it is working a little bit. I think it needs a little more pieces. But when you stare at it, you want to stare at the corners because that's where it's going to reflect and make a pretty shape. And like I said, you can always use something different. And if for some reason you don't have enough, these are made out of just a piece of plastic. You could use like a strawberry container, just color them with some Sharpies and cut out trapezoids, squares, triangles, anything geometric. You really don't want, you could do circles, but you don't want them too big because then they will touch this top and they won't move around like you would like them to. And I've also found when you look into a light with these, they look even prettier because it shines through the pretty colors. I wish I could show you this, but when you come in to get your kit, you'll get to look at it. And then the last thing you'll do, and you might want to take out your plastic pieces and your lid while you do this, we'll give you a piece of construction paper. And it wraps perfectly around here with a little bit left over. You can tape it or glue it with a glue stick, and you can put some stickers on here. Sometimes stickers don't stick very well to construction paper, so you could use a piece of white paper, decorate it any way you want, then add stickers. The one we did, we used a lot of stickers. Pamunkey Regional Library. Now some of these stickers wouldn't stick. That's how I found out. So I had to glue them. And we're giving you some stars. Those will be in your kit. And those don't seem to stick very well either. So I might suggest that you get some white paper to decorate with. So yeah, so that's how you make the kaleidoscope. And if you don't have the kit, there are instructions in the kit, but if you find out that you don't have a kit because they got all taken, because it is while supplies last, first come, first served, and they will be given out right before this program airs on the 14th. I mean on the 12th. So the week before the 12th, you want to come in and get your kit. And if you don't, we can show you how to do this with your own Pringles jar and some plastic. It's not hard at all. Okay, I'm glad you came. Now, we're going to get ready and do some rainbow paper. This is a little more tricky, so I'll be right back. Hi, we're back. Now, as you can see, we've got some things set up. I've got this old placemat underneath of a dark colored bowl. You don't have to use a dark colored bowl, but I thought this might make it easier for the craft that we're about to do. And then we need either paper towels or something absorbent right beside you. You want to set up a good work area. So what we're actually doing is rainbow paper. Let me show you what you're going to get, because I don't want you to get discouraged. This is what it's going to look like when we're done. These are some pieces that have been done. Can you see the rainbow on them? You can make little cards, and then you can make invitations, and there's just extra ones. Now this is construction paper, made kind of a different shimmery look. You never know how it's going to turn out. It's really fun. And in your kit, you get some small scrap paper to work with. And you want to use a small piece, no more than 3 to 5 inches. Now this is white. This is hard to tell, but this has got a really pretty sheen to it. Really pretty. So I did a couple of those white ones. The best for showing up is black paper. Now this is some blue cardstock. This did okay, but you can't see all the colors as well as you can see them on the black paper. The black paper really shows up. So there, you see how they're all different? That's the fun part about it. You don't know what you're going to get. So anyway, let's get started on how to do that. So what you're going to need is a setup like this. And like I said, it doesn't have to be a dark bowl, but that might help. You're going to need to have handy fingernail polish remover because we're using clear nail polish. And what we're going to do, let me just explain it first before we do some samples. We're going to take this nail polish and pull it out, and don't kind of, you want to drop to be able to drop in this water. And what's going to happen, it's going to spread out a little bit. And then within 10 seconds, you want to dip a piece of your paper. One of these papers we're going to dip. We have a bunch, but we won't do this many. And you're going to dip it in there and then quickly pull it right back out and set it over here to dry. Now it will dry pretty quickly so that you can see the rainbow, but it will take a little while for it to dry thoroughly. So what you also need to have handy is a plastic spoon, because sometimes something may happen and your nail polish may dry up if you wait too long. So you can just go in there and scoop it out and kind of put it on a little napkin and get it out of your way, because you don't want that in there messing up your next dip with the paper. And then I like to have these wipes handy, just because you never know if you need a wipe. And I also like to have a dish towel handy. I'll put that right there, just because if anything happened and we had a spill, we can easily get it up. So that's everything we need, and you want it close to you, and you want this piece where you're going to lay them close to you too. You want a good work area. So what I'm going to do is pick out a couple that we can show you how to do. We'll do one white one. We'll do one blue one. We'll do one black one. And I've got some construction paper in here. I thought we'll do one construction paper. It's really cool that it works on construction paper, because more people have construction paper than they have cardstock. But also, if you have thicker cardstock, it will work even better. I think you might have noticed how mine were a little wrinkly from water. When you use a thicker piece of cardstock, it will not do that. You can also cut out the papers to make little hearts for Valentine's Day, since that's coming up. Okay, so we'll shake this up a little bit. We've got our papers here handy. We don't really need this in case of a mishap. Okay, so don't touch your brush against the sides. Just bring it out. And sometimes to make it drop, it dropped. Now if you could see this, we'll do the construction paper one first. And just quickly pick it out. I think you can see that. I'm gonna move the camera up so you can see it up close. Now just lay this out right on this absorbent placemat. So let's do, now there is a few pieces. Let's get these out of there. And there. Now I'm going to pull this closer while we do the rest. That way you can see the little area that turns rainbow. Now let's hope this works. We'll put this down a little bit. There you go. Hopefully you can see it. I'm going to be coming this way. So I'm going to put the drop in, and we want to be quick. Sometimes you might have to, yep, there it goes. Oh, it's spread out. It looks really pretty. And then you just stick it in and pull it out. Can you see the little reflections? There's a little bit of polish there. This one did not work as well, but that's okay. And then we'll do the blue. See if you can see this. I know it's hard. It's something you just have to try on your own and just do a lot of practicing, because sometimes they don't all turn out. And that's okay. That's why we gave you a lot of sheets to practice with. Now you can see it on there kind of already. And if you get these little pieces, just kind of squish them off to the side and put them on that paper towel. And one last one, we'll do the white. See if you can see. Can you see that up there? Can you see that? I'm going to leave that in there just for now so you can see. But watch this new one. I'm going to put it over here. It takes a minute to spread out. Can you see it? I think you can. Anyway, this is just a fun thing to get scraps of paper for Valentine's or bookmarks. anything like that. We'll come back and look at these after they dry and see what we did. Now, it doesn't really stick to your hands too much because it's wet, which is good. So we didn't need the wipes. Yay. Okay. So another idea is to try some red cardstock. That might be really neat. So now we're on to our next experiment. I call it a twirly whirly experiment. So we'll be right back in just a minute. We're back. Now what we're going to do is we're going to place some milk in these bowls. And you will need, we're going to make a swirly milk experiment. You'll need some food coloring, not gel. It has to be liquid. You'll need some dishwashing liquid and a couple of Q-tips to put your liquid on. So I'm going to move this up here because I really want you to see the swirly whirly. So I'll be right back, okay? Okay, we're set up. Now we're going to take and get our Q-tips close to us. Kind of sticky. Now, what we're going to do is pick some colors out of the food coloring to put in the top of this milk. Now I thought I would use a little drop of red. Whoops, that came out 2 drops. That's okay. So we'll do 2 drops of blue, and maybe we'll make purple if we swirl it around enough. Now we've got a little bit, oh, it's dripped in there, you see? It's already dripped. You can move it. See it trying to move? What is doing that? The fat in the milk, the molecules are chasing each other. You know how they say Dawn? See it moving? Dawn attacks grease and fat, so it moves it. But it's not turning purple, is it? But it's making a pretty design. Wouldn't that be pretty if we could capture that on our rainbow paper? Let's try this little edge and see. Yeah, it's not going as fast, but it's going. Can you see it? You can do this with all sorts of colors. Sometimes it just takes a little while. Let's see what happens if we drop just a drop. It's still going. Let's drop it. Yeah, it didn't go too fast like last time. But maybe if we swirl it around, what's going to happen? See what's following the Q-tip. Oh, this is starting to look really pretty. Go into the color a little bit. Yeah, see it? When you put that go the other way. When you put that Q-tip with the soap on it, there's one dropped in. This doesn't want to play. And then, see it running away? It's running away. So that one's real pretty. Try this. There we go. Yeah, it's all moving. It's keeping on moving because we were stirring it. The only reason we can see this reaction is because of the color. When you do this with a regular dishwashing liquid on your dishes, the same thing happens when you're cleaning up greasy items, fatty items. But you can only see it because of this. Well, let's try one more. Let's try a bunch. Let's try green and yellow. Yellow needs a lot. And blue and red. This is a fun experiment to just try over and over. If you have some milk that you know you can't drink before it's going bad, yeah, this is still moving. I see it moving right there. Okay, so we'll put a little bit, let's try to do it this way. And we'll just stick it in here. Look at it. There we go. Yeah. See it moving? This one's doing a lot better. So we didn't have that little drop fall in there. Look at the color coming from here. Must have been under the milk. That looks really neat. Kind of looks like a tall flamingo or something with these funny legs. And maybe his head is out. Let's put this back, see what happens. Cool. Oh, now it's really doing something. It's making a big circle. It's chasing it. It's trying to attack the fat molecules. Now look, where'd that blue come from? It's all underneath the surface. The soap is spreading everywhere. Let's just leave it right here and see what happens. The circle's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Cool. Now maybe when you try this, you could use a shallow dish and it would look like not waste so much milk. Maybe if it's a shallower dish, it might work better too, because it will be closer together. Look at this blue spreading out. Let's tap into the red. What's the red doing? Yeah, it's swirling around. We put a lot of red, didn't we? It's making a deep color red, unlike the blue. Now it's starting to get some white. Interesting. Now here comes some green inside of there. I'm your little commentator. Anyway, this is just a sample, and I hope you want to try it sometime. You probably have all these items right at home. Let's do this. Oh, look, the green. That green is going everywhere, huh? So you can do this for hours. Let's go back in here. Let's get a fresh Q-tip and see what happens. Because it's been resting. And we'll carefully put a little bit. I think it works better if we don't, still drop that piece in. I think that's what's messing us up. See it going around? It is turning purple. All right, well, I'll let y'all do this yourself and see what else you can come up with. This one's so pretty. So is this one. Okay, and now we're gonna check on our little pieces of paper that we did the rainbow paper with. So be right back. Okay, that was fun. Now I'm looking at our color papers. Now I will say they're still wet, but this construction paper one has worked marvelously. I don't know, it's not reflecting as well because it's still a little wet, but it also dries very flat. See that? Now, this one did not want to work at all. Gave just a little bit of pieces off like this. But that's okay. Like I said, it takes a lot of practice, and that's okay because we're giving you a lot of papers. And then this blue one is really pretty. It's still really wet, but you can see it's got a lot of color in it. It'll probably take a couple of hours for these to dry completely. And then here you have your white. You could use this to make wings on an insect. This one really has to dry, or like fairy wings. I'll show you one that's already dry. Let's put it up there. See that? Pretty. So I wanted to just show you real quick, if you have some markers, metallic markers. These are metallic markers. And if you have a piece like this one that needs a little bit of help, say you wanted to make a card, fold it in half. Hopefully all the pieces we give you will be perfectly cut. Now, you can see it has a little bit, but it also has some empty marks right here and on this edge. See that? So you can take these markers, and they will look different on the rainbow part than they will on the black, but that's okay. And you can make a little corner and just color it in. And that's why it's really great if you have metallic markers, because it really kind of matches the rainbow look. And it'll give it some, and then you don't see the missing parts. See there? And you could actually do all 4 corners and just cover up the rainbow part, or you could just do 2. Now also, these metallic pens work really well, but there's also, you might have gel pens, and probably they have metallic gold. So you can come in here, well, or here, and write right on there, say this was a thank you card. It shows up really well, and it really complements the paper. Yeah, so that is just a little tip, and you can cut them out. Like if you, this one is really good. Doesn't have hardly any missing paper, any missing pieces. Sometimes the edges, because you're touching them. So you can cut it out and make a shiny heart. You could also use red construction paper. I haven't tried that because I didn't have any at home, and I kept forgetting. But this construction paper is really shimmery. It's not as bright, but it's really shimmery. I think it's pretty. And I'm sure the red will look pretty too, since it is a dark color. It just might not show up as well as on black. So anyway, that's about it for today, and thank you for tuning in. I hope you got to do some experiments, and I hope you will use these little papers to make some cards and some invitations, whatever you want. You could even make scales. Like, I feel like if you took these and cut them like dragon scales, you could make a little dragon, a 3D dragon. Because some of them really turned out looking like scales. We'll see this one. Yeah, it's hard to see, but can you see that? Yeah, so there's a lot of different things you can do with those. And it's fun to experiment. When your milk is going bad, you'll have some that you can afford to waste. You could actually use the food coloring for other crafts. And there was one craft that I wanted to tell you about that I did not do because I didn't want to make this too long. It's along the lines of the milk swirly twirly experiment. You can use water and oil, and it will make all kinds of cute bubbles that move all around, sort of like the milk did. So that's something you can look up and try one day when you're doing these fun science color experiments in the kitchen. So I hope you had fun. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.